Good afternoon all. Today we are gonna talk about Python variables and data type. So, at the end of this video, you will know how to define a variable in Python. You will know how to define Python variable. You will know the types of Python variable we have, and then you will know the Python data types. So without further ado, let's get started with this tutorial already. Okay, to start with, let me clean this. You might ask, what is a variable? Yeah. Some of us, variable, we have heard that name before. We know the meaning. Some of us might not know the meaning. Okay. To make it clear, a variable is a name that is given to a value. That's just the simple definition of variable. Now, to bring it down to your own understanding, or to a layman's understanding, allow me to use this example. Yeah. Take for example, inside a store, you have a bucket. Okay, let's take the store apart. That will be when we are talking of complex data types. Okay, so let's say you have a bucket or a container. Yeah, let's take it as a container. Now inside that container, you give that container a name tag. You might name that container item. Yeah, you tag the container item, paste it on the body of that container, so item becomes the name of that container. Now inside that container, you store different items. You can store water inside the container. You can decide to store fuel, petrol gas. You can decide to store kerosene. You can decide to put another object that is not liquid, like cup, inside the container, or you can decide to put garri, like we over here in Nigeria, we like storing garri. So you can decide to store garri inside the container. You can decide to store rice. So the container, the name tag you give to that container becomes the name of that variable in this example, while the content of that container is the value of the variable. So let's say the container is now the variable and the value is the content inside it, whatever you store inside it. That is a real life example of variable. Okay, now let's take for example, variables have four major types of variable in Python. We have the Boolean variable. Now let's treat the Boolean variable. Boolean variable. Now, Boolean variable is a variable that you use when you want to store the value of true or false. Imagine you want to store a value that you will need to change when an event occurs. The value, you need that value to change from either true to false or from false to true, depending on the event that is currently occurring. You can't store that value with number. You can't store it with as alphabet. So that's where Boolean variable occurs. That's where you use Boolean variable. Let's take for example, Let's say for example, you want your computer to check if it is running. If it is running, your computer will tell you, John, go inside and play video games. But if it is not running, if the weather is sunny, your computer will tell you to go outside and ride bike. Now this is where you need the true or false value that will make it a boolean variable. So here you might check, you might save is running, is running. You might set it to false at initial. Yeah, you might set it to false at initial. So when the condition changes that it is running, then this value false will have to change to true, because over here it's not running this place. So I need to turn this to false so I can go outside and ride my bike. And when it starts running, I go inside and play my video games. Okay, let's go ahead. Now you know the situation where you need to use boolean variable, and you understand what boolean variable is. Boolean variable is a variable that only contains the value of true or false, and you need to use it when you need to store a value of true or false only. That's when you need to use boolean variable as the container that stores the value you want to store. Okay, let's go over to okay, this one has given us okay, let's go over to floats. Float here. As you can see, this value here is a decimal number. So float is just a mathematical decimal number. Python calls it float. Float is another type of Python variable and also a Python data type. Boolean as well is a Python data type. So float is just an integer. Any number that has a dot in it is a float in Python. You might change this 22.5 to 22.0 as far as there is a point. Despite that there is nothing, it's just zero after the point. Python stores it as a float. Even if this is 0.0, Python will still store it as a float data type. This is how Python deals with float data types. Float data type as a variable. Sorry for my grammar. Don't mind my grammar, just because of the letter. Okay, this time around we have another data type called string. Yeah, string. Now string is anything there, especially letters. They might be words. You use string when you want to type a message or display a message on the screen, or a greeting, that kind of a thing. So it might not really be just a message. You might also use a number. Yes, a number inside string, as far as it comes inside quotation. This quotation I'm using here is double quotation. It might also be single quotation. As far as it opens a single quotation, the content inside it then closing another single quotation. If you are opening with single quotation, close it with single quotation. Don't open with single quotation and close with double quotation. If you open with double quotation, close it with double quotation as well. So anything that comes in the main between the opening and closing of that quotation is a string data type. And when you put it as a value to a variable, that variable becomes a string variable, because it has the value of a string data type. Any value that has string data type, the variable, and assigned as a variable, the variable is a string variable. The same applies to float. Same applies to boolean. Same applies to this one I'm about to show you, which is int. That's integer. Yeah, integer. So integer is just a whole number. It's just a whole number, a mathematical whole number. Any number that doesn't have any it doesn't have any mathematical expression with it, and there is no decimal point in it, and it's not enclosed inside any quotation mark. That is an integer. I believe we cannot differentiate between string, float, integer, and boolean data type. Now, when we want to store a whole number as a variable, we will need integer type. So once you store the whole number, once you assign a variable to it, know that that variable is an integer data type of variable. We also have other Python data types. Other Python data type, which I will explain here as well. Yeah, we have the Python list. Yeah, the Python list. Python list is like the list you make while going to market. You need to buy items of different type and caliber. You need to buy food items, clothes, accessories. That is a list. So from there you know that a list can contain different data type. Inside a list you can have a boolean data type inside a list. Inside that same list that contains boolean data type can also contain float. It can contain string. It can also contain integer and other Python data types like dictionary. Even list itself, there can be a list inside list in Python. That is where we go to Python nested list. That one is a complex list. A list that you have set inside it. You might have dictionary. You might have another list inside it. You might have tuples inside it. Okay, this is how we define a list in Python. Are you ready? Let's go. So let's create our market list. Let's say to create a market list in Python, when you create the name of the variable, now you use a square bracket, opening and closing square brackets. Inside that square bracket will be the content of your list. Now I want this list to be super simple for beginning purpose. Later on I will make another tutorial for especially for lists. Here we will treat complex list. But for now let's keep it simple. I just want this list to contain the four data types the four primary Python data type, which is boolean. Yeah, boolean. So first of all, the first item is false. Second item is 0.00. The third item, let's give it the city name, New York. And the fourth item, the number 42. This is a Python list. So if we are to run this code, click here to run. Okay, already I'm encountering a syntax error, which I think is because I'm using PowerShell. If I am to delete this thing and go to terminal, use command prompt instead of PowerShell, I'm sure our code is going to run pretty well, just that it will not print anything. This is it. Type Python. If you type Python, type name of the file, which is new.py. It didn't show any error. That means the code ran but didn't print anything. So we want it to print something. So we will be sure that yes, our code worked. So we are gonna print is running. We're gonna print temperature. We're gonna print temperature. We are also gonna print the city. And we're gonna print the number as well as the list. So are you ready? Are you ready? Let's run the Python file. Boom. Here it is. The first one we printed is running. So it checked if it is running, and yeah, it's not running here. So it says false. We check the temperature 0.0 as we set it, yes, but the temperature here is not 0.0. I mean, who can survive in a 0.0 temperature? Okay, then we check the city. Yeah, the city is set to New York, but sorry, I'm not in New York. I'm in Nigeria. I'm inside one big village in Nigeria. Okay, then you check the number. The number is 42. Yeah, that is what you set it to. Then this is the list we created out of these things. Okay, because this video is already long enough, 17 plus minutes, I will cut this video here. In our next tutorial session, I will take us through Python tuple, Python dictionary, Python sets, and is there another Python data type? Maybe the int arrays, and if we have that time, I will still take us through the Python int arrays and other ones. But for now, goodbye for now. Don't forget to click the like button, comment, share this video, and also ring the bell so you can get updates when next I post a tutorial video here. Thank you guys. Thank you.